Hello there, beautiful dear soul ones. In this video, I will be sharing about the 6 steps on how to transmute and release your or our emotions. This is the 3rd video of a series of videos which is all about transmuting and releasing emotions. Alrighty then, let's get straight to it. So we have 6 steps. I will name all 6 steps and then we will go into depth into each one. 1. Feel, be present, acknowledge, and with no judgment, and release your emotion. Step 2, taking responsibility. Step 3, stepping away from blame and playing the victim. Step 4, reflection, release, acknowledgement. Step 5, transmutation. Step 6, healing. Ta-da! So, let's start with the first one. Okay, so when we are feeling an emotion, sometimes when it's not a gratefully joyful emotion, let's say anger, we suppress it. We don't want to feel it. You know, someone did something and no, it's wrong etiquette to get angry. I'm not going to get angry. I'm going to suppress my anger and just keep it down. And I'm not going to feel it. I feel angry. Yes, I'm angry, but you know, I'm not that angry and I'm okay. And we're going to talk my emotions down. And I don't really feel angry, but really, I'm really quite angry inside. And this is not really being present with our emotion because we're kind of not acknowledging it. We know it's there, but we're not giving it space to just feel this anger or sadness or whatever emotion is coming through. Again, you know, we're an empty cup, so the emotion comes in, we feel it, but we do want to empty it out again. And if we don't acknowledge it and really be with it present right here, right now, we aren't able to release it, right? So if you feel angry, shout, punch a pillow, be mad. If you're sad, just cry and bawl your eyes out, you know? If you're frustrated, just go, I'm so frustrated. And just be it and embody it with your body, mind, and soul. And it's okay to do it. Just be emotional. With no judgment, right? Just like, oh, I can be emotional, and don't judge yourself. Like, oh no, you're not supposed to get angry because that wouldn't be spiritual. Or, oh no, you're not supposed to get angry because that means you know, you're a bad person or something like this. Just feel. Being in the now is just being present with what is. If anger is coming to you, then just be present and feel it. Acknowledge it and then release it in whatever way. Whether you need to shout or dance or stomp or punch a pillow, whatever way. When we don't release it, then it bubbles up and our glass just gets fuller until there's overload and a big explosion. The inside of our bodies, our physical being can get really sick when we hold anger. You know, anger's in the liver, for example. Emotions get stuck in different areas in our body. And we can get sickness and ailments, you know, but when we acknowledge it, then we can pass through it really quick and we could do it within minutes, an hour, a day. Really dependent on what's going on for you and where you're at about it. But we can really release it straight away and then we have an empty cup and ready for more play and hopefully for more joyous emotions to jump in, right? Also, when our cup is full with different emotions, especially if they're negative emotions, then it's hard. We need a lot of positive emotions to make that a neutral space again, right? And to feel happy again. So the more we can feel and release negative emotions, the more easier it is to feel the positive and good emotions. Step 2, take responsibility. We talked about this in the first video and in the second one also. We are responsible for our emotions. No one can make us feel anything. The only way they can make us feel something is because we gave the key away to our emotional luggage that we drag around everywhere where we go, because we didn't take responsibility of releasing and transmuting all of this emotional stuff, and so we're just carrying it in the back. ready to be triggered at any moment, any time. It's like walking around with a bag full of mines, and we have no idea and no one has any idea. Whatever they could say could, activate one of these mines and an explosion could happen. So it's my responsibility to get rid of these mines, get rid of the bag, put it down, and acknowledge that no one can make me angry unless I have some issues to deal with. If someone made me angry, to go back to the example that we used already, because they said the sun is yellow, and they didn't do anything wrong, they just stated something. It wasn't like, oh, you're not allowed to say that around me. Who am I to define their expression and say, this is how you're supposed to act? But it is my responsibility. If I don't want to feel that way next time that someone says the sun is yellow, then it's my responsibility to look, where's the origin from that? What's going on inside? How can I release it and let it go? And so I will never be angry ever again when someone says that the sun is yellow. Number 3, take away blame and victim mentality, victim role. We are so easy to blame others. He frustrates me. He made me angry. I'm angry because she said that to me. I'm angry, or I'm frustrated because that person acts in that kind of way. So we're going to talk about all of these individual emotions in separate videos in more detail and exactly reflect what's happening there and how we can transmute it. But just in general, we want to step away from blaming. In fact, I could even encourage you to thank your friend or the person who made you angry or annoyed or frustrated or whichever emotion came up. Thank them. Yes, thank them. Thank you for reflecting to me what I have not yet healed, and I now take responsibility and put it on my to-do list to go and heal this thing that is still affecting me, apparently, because somehow I had given you the key to be able to activate it. So thank you for making me feel that, so I can go within and know myself and transmute and heal myself. Thank you for giving me empowerment. When we're blaming everybody else, it's like, oh yeah, it's their fault, they did it to me, there's nothing I can do. It's the victim mentality. He did that, she did that to me, I'm a poor victim, help me, boo-hoo. And the thing is, we're stepping away from that. We've had hundreds of years of being in the victim mentality, but guess what? We have the tools, and we always have had the tools to transmute and not be in the victim, to empower ourselves. We have the possibility all the time, every day, to empower ourselves and transmute these emotions. We are not victims. That's why we have to take responsibility. So, step away from blame. Perhaps if you can go so far, even thank the person, whether it's in your mind or actually in the physical, doesn't matter. And that might be hard in the beginning to have that new perspective, but at least, whenever you're saying he did or she did or they made me, step back. That's a red flag. I haven't healed my father issues, and thus this person was able to trigger certain emotions who made me frustrated, and I took it out on them. I take responsibility. My partner did this to me, blah, 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 blah. We're not excusing other people's way of being or their actions, but their actions is their responsibility, is their center of their universe. What I haven't healed in my stuff, that's my responsibility and my center of my universe. Now, if I'm all healed up, and then perhaps I have time to gently, with compassion, show this other person perhaps another way that they want to act, that's one thing. But we're talking about healing ourselves. So let's not go preach to them how they should or shouldn't act, because really, who are we preaching? What are we preaching about when we have our own luggage, emotional stuff to clear, to let go of? Come on. Time for the cleansing. So step 3 is take away the blame, step into the I, take away the victim role, and empower ourselves. Yeah, be real, which can be hard sometimes. You know, you're going to a very vulnerable place and admitting that we're wrong, and but it would be fruitful. And when we get to that point, the next step, step 4, would be to reflect, release, and acknowledge. So it's time to reflect. We just released an emotion. We were angry. We took responsibility, and we noticed that it was, something that we had to let go of. We took away, step back from blaming another person and playing the victim role. And now we can reflect at the whole situation in the painting, and we can see, where does this come from? What is the origin from this? What's going on here? Can I learn something from this? Can I make sure that the next time someone says that the sun is yellow, that I don't get angry? Can I heal this in some way? Let's reflect this whole situation. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let's objectively, right? And by reflecting it, we can acknowledge what's just happened. Okay, I have apparently a problem when people say that the sun is yellow. I'm going to acknowledge that, so I know this now. And next time someone says the sun is yellow and I react, then I'll be like, well, I'm sorry that I reacted that way. I actually know I have an issue with the stating that the sun is yellow. I haven't transmuted it yet, but pardon me. And this allows us to release this first stage of this emotion. We felt it, we dealt it, we reflected upon it, we acknowledged it, we brought it to light, we didn't hide it away in the darkness. Boom. That's most of the work right there. And for some, and especially in the beginning, that's as far as we're going to get. But then in the next levels, transmute and healing, when we can find the origin, when we can go deep inside and find the origin of this emotion, then we have a chance to heal it. So step 5 is transmutation, or to transmute the emotion. I would have to go deep inside it, and it could look like an hour of reflection, a day, a year. Maybe I use meditation, maybe I use different tools to figure it out. Maybe I go to a healing practitioner to help me, a hypnotherapist, whatever it may be, my higher sources. But once I find the origin, the seed where this came from, for example, my father told me, for example, I told my father the sun is orange, and he screamed at me and smacked me and said, no, it's yellow, the sun is yellow. Now, every time that someone says the sun is yellow, I get really angry, and I act out of my ego. I say, yeah, of course it is. I knew that. And by now understanding where the origin came from, it came from that situation, and that's why I overreact in the present. Now I found the seed. And what happened there in that seed, in that original experience? Well, I got hurt by my father, how he, touched me, reacted to me. He made me feel worthless and stupid, and I decided then and there that I wasn't good enough for his love, and that I was in a lot of pain and I couldn't share that really hurt me. And so I've been holding on to that emotional luggage for the last 20 years, and now every time someone says the sun is yellow, I burst out. Wow. Now we just found the seed, the origin of where this is coming from. Once we find the seed, the origin, we can go in and heal that. There are many different methods to heal it. Acknowledgement is step 1. Step 2, we can just connect to our higher sources, connect to our Father. And most of it is really looking for forgiveness. Not for Him, for ourselves. Forgiving ourselves for taking it so personally. Forgiving ourselves for thinking that we were not lovable. Forgiving ourselves for making a story that we thought we were stupid because we thought the sun was orange and He told us it was yellow. So it starts with just really self-forgiving and being okay and accepting and just going back to that situation, which we could do in a regression or using hypnotherapy, meditation, or just sending love to the situation. There are many ways we can transmute this actual emotion, where I'll do another video talking more about the different tools we can use to transmute. But yeah, once we get there and we transmute and we heal that moment in time, then any other time someone says the sun is yellow, it cannot affect us. How amazing is that? We just let go of one of the little emotional traumas that we have in our bag, and hopefully as we release more and more and more, we don't even need a bag anymore because we are not carrying anything anymore. And so at 6, on the step 6, since we transmuted it, now we can go to healing. I felt the emotion, I took responsibility, I stopped with the victim role and the blaming, I empowered myself, I reflected and noticed and got to know myself better, got to have more love and compassion for myself, so I could transmute that old scar, and now I come to the phase of healing. And by transmuting it, we start to heal this. And perhaps the next time someone says the sun is yellow, we may flinch a little bit, but we're not shouting. And perhaps the second time someone says the sun is yellow, we might cringe a tiny bit, but perhaps the third time they mention it's yellow, you said, yes, it's beautiful and it's yellow, and oh my gosh, I have to tell you this story, how much I used to get angry when people said that. Isn't that the weirdest thing? And you can actually laugh about yourself and bring joy, because we are not our emotions again, right? We don't have to judge ourselves for being angry or judge ourselves for being sad, because it's just something that's flowing through us. It's just some water in a glass that gets emptied after. So these are the 6 steps that we can take to healing or releasing and transmuting our emotions. I will list them on the bottom of this video, just so you have them there and you can play around with it. Perhaps I'll write them up in an article at some point. Okay, I'm sending you much love, and in the next videos we'll go more into depths and different emotions, particularly, and how we can particularly look into those emotions and what they may be trying to tell us, what lessons they're wanting us to acknowledge. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your love and support. Bye-bye.